I want to share a profoundly simple approach that I've been applying in my life the last few years, which has consistently helped me make aligned decisions and take inspired action in the direction towards what's true for me. And in retrospect, I can see all of these amazing things that have happened in the last few years, like business opportunities and new friendships, meeting mentors and teachers, deep and intimate relationships, even to moving across the world to a monastery for 6 months. So much more. And it's really three simple steps, which are so easy to overlook and dismiss. Because I don't know about you, but I've learned to overcomplicate almost everything. And it wasn't until I started questioning everything that I started to realize that there really is a simple and natural way that we move through our life, which is guided and supported by something which is beyond the logical linear mind. So this may even seem radical, but really it's so natural that at the most essential level of who you are, you already know this. And this is actually the way that everything meaningful has come into your life. It comes down to three simple steps. Act on what inspires you the most now. In every given moment, we have a multitude of options that we can choose from, right? I can go read a book. I can go for a run. I can make a call to somebody that I know. I can reach out to someone that I've never met. I can choose to do anything that I want. But how do you know what to do? There is this internal guidance system, which is an energetic resonance within you. We all know what excites us. We all know when we're inspired. I recognize moments in my life where I'm guided into things purely based on that energetic impulse, that emotional current, which is pulling me towards it. And when I follow that impulse, when I trust myself and what's moving me, that's when the magic has happened. Step two is all about taking that action as far as you can without forcing it. There's a natural progression to whatever arc you're on, whether it's a project or a task or any sort of inspiration of creativity that you have to carry out. There's a subtle point where it starts to become more of a forcing, more of a doing. It's sort of run its natural course. It's kind of like a wave for a surfer where you paddle in to catch it, stand up, and ride it until it breaks. So, this step is really all about trusting yourself to know when that inspiration is coming to completion and when you're forcing it to try to make it into more than it wants to be. The third step has always been the most difficult for my logical and linear mind because it's all about taking action on what inspires you, taking it as far as you can take it and not forcing it, but doing it with no expectations or insistence on what should happen as a result of that action, and letting go of the assumption that you know how it could happen the best. This is where it's been tricky for me because I love to plan and prepare and figure out what's going to happen. And when I've genuinely taken this approach in my life, I've noticed that all of the opportunities and the synchronicities and the support and the resources that I need in order to take that action as far as I can take it, it's almost as if they magically appear. They seem to come out of nowhere. And all the motivation and the will needed to act and to carry out that action is somehow available. And the events that transpire in taking that action somehow happen in the perfect order, just as they need to happen. It becomes this pathway of least resistance, which keeps me in connection to the inspiration and has me discover more inspiration for future actions to take. The interesting thing is that it also attracts all the challenges that I need in order to recognize where I'm keeping myself limited, whether it be lack beliefs or limited perspectives that are keeping me confined in a certain way of being or in a certain direction of action that I want to take. So it's also constantly showing me where I'm not free. And in the midst of the process, I've had to remind myself to trust and to have faith and to let go of my assumptions and my expectations on how I think it should be going. So it's been one of the greatest catalysts for me to cultivate a deeper self-trust and a trust in life. And this is where we come to the more subtle aspect to this approach, because what we believe and what we think and what we feel is dictating our reality. So whatever we believe is what it's going to be. Whatever we think it is is then what it becomes. So this requires some self-honesty and some introspection, because sometimes what seems exciting or inspiring is actually a sort of anxiety masquerading as that because of fear or self-doubt or the need for certainty and safety. So not only does this approach bring the challenges into your life to help you evolve, but it also dredges up the beliefs that keep you stuck in your current paradigm. While there's so much magic that comes out of this approach, the process in and of itself is also so rich with learning and connection and cultivating a deeper self-trust and faith, and also opening up to possibilities which seem to be beyond my mind at that time. And by facing unconscious aspects of myself, I get to evolve and transcend my own limitations. So this really is kind of a master key to self-realization and self-actualization. So know that if you do implement this, it's very likely to completely change your life for the better.